almost 6 years ago, we interviewed Blunder on this channel, and the interview was great. The audio quality was not. And then a couple years after that, Robert Eggers released his version of Nosferatu, much to my dismay, and I decided to fix at least one wrong in my life that I was capable of. So here is Blunder to tell us about how he invented Life Orb Garchomp and all that jazz. Say hi to the people, Blunder.
Yep. I forgot about that. Thank you.
Blunder doesn't know this, but I actually
my shining moment. Even though that's your team, I just brought it out.
No, it was yours. You made it yours. So I actually have the replay versus Ojama on the screen right now. So the people have also submitted a lot of questions to ask Blunder, and but before we get to those, I just want to ask, who's the top, you or CTC?
That's a crazy question.
The people have to know.
Who asked this?
I did.
Who asked this? First, you got to kick them out of your server.
Nope, that was all me.
Gotta give a big shout out to CTC for birthing my career. Credit where credit's due. Gotta give a big shout out to CTC for birthing my career.
So that makes sense.
It's been many instrumental people in my come up.
So the first real question, quote unquote, is how did you get started with competitive Pokemon? Everyone has their own version of this, and it's always fascinating, even though it all tends to kind of be the same.
Yeah. For me, basically, I was playing. I got Pokemon for the first time when I was in like 7th grade. Is when I got the. Well, I played Emerald. Like I played my friend's copy of Emerald, but it was just like a game. I didn't care that much. I just beat the game and then I gave it back to him immediately after I beat the game. Like no post game or nothing. And then I knew Pokemon was pretty fun though. Like as a whole, like I enjoyed playing it the few times I did. And basically, I got a copy of Diamond and Pearl. No, actually, I had Platinum, but my cousin stole it. And so then after that, I was like, Pokemon is cursed. I'm never getting involved with this again. No, literally, my cousin stole it, and then I was like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. And Gen 5 came around, and this was Black and White 1, right? So it came out in 2011, I believe, in March, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, my dad bought that for me. I asked him, I'm like, yo, I really want this game. Can you get it for me? And he was like, yeah, sure. Because I didn't ask for video games that much back then. Like, I liked video games, I had them, but like there wasn't that many that I really ever like cared for much. But my dad got me that game. And I played it a shit ton. I remember Black and White 1 was super fun to me, and I used to play like the Battle Subway and other stuff like that, like a lot. Basically what happened is that I was shiny hunting all the time. I always wanted more and more shiny Pokemon. That was my thing. And so one day somebody traded me a shiny Giratina, and it had 504 HP. And I was like, how the fuck does yours have 504 HP, but mine isn't even close to that level of HP? And so I was really confused. I was like, why is his so much better than mine? How do I get this type of Giratina with 500 HP? And then I Googled it and I found out what EVs and IVs were. And then somehow from there I kind of found out about the whole competitive world. And yeah, I basically started learning more and more about competitive stuff, and I only played on Wi-Fi. Because I didn't even know about Pokemon Online or Smogon forums, none of that stuff. So I would build all my own teams, but I was pretty smart. Like I would make Firewater Grass cores and stuff like that, and I would have some cheap mons on my team like Slowbro and Terrakion and stuff like that. But basically, yeah, I kept playing on Wi-Fi, and then I played everybody on Wi-Fi in this little chat room I was in. This is called VG chat room, and like the Pokemon index of that site. And I played everybody there, and it's not like I was even the best or nothing, but I basically told myself, yeah, I'm the best. I beat everybody here. And somebody there was like, you talking so much shit. At this time, I'm like 12 years old, or I'm about to be 13, yeah. And someone in the chat was like, you're not like that. Go play on Pokemon Online and report back. And I was like, whatever. And I went on Pokemon Online, and I got fried. I got completely fried. And I remember they were like, yeah, let's see your ladder rank. And I remember sending a screenshot of like the top 40 and being like, oh yeah, I'm number 30. And it's just like some random guy. But I'm like, nah, that's me. And
Me
then
and
yeah, I
Roscoe used to do
basically
that all the
I played on
time.
PO for like a month, and then 1 month in, I met I met my friends Moet and Case. Not even 1 month in, I want to say like a week in. I met them on PO, and it was literally like one of the most like juvenile type of conversations you can have on like the
Fucking
and be
Discord.
friends. It was
Uh,
literally it was literally like that.
Hey, sorry, say that last juvenile conversation again because Discord decided to be really good.
And then
Oh my god. I
Hugo
apologize.
and all of them. So then like yeah, I
You're
basically met everybody very,
you're gonna have to recite that conversation one more time because Discord is
very quick. So that
collapsing.
cut out.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good. From where?
Just the juvenile conversation, whatever it was.
Oh yeah, whatever. And I don't know who I ran into on the ladder. Maybe it was Mo. Maybe it was something. It was some kind of. It was basically just a conversation of like, yo, you guys want to battle? You guys want to be friends? And they were like, yeah, let's be friends. And then that's literally what happened. And then they're like, yeah, add me on Skype. Since back then, this is the medium everybody talked on. And so I downloaded Skype, and we were like talking and making teams. And then I got added to this group with like CTC, Great Bastard, the Great. Joey knew everybody there, but Joey didn't get added to the group for a few months later because he was just doing his own thing. But Joey was always friends with Hugo and them since beginning of time. And I mean, you were in that group too. Then later on that year, in like 2013, by then you were already in that group as well. So, but yeah, but it was like you're basically all just playing on Skype all the time, and it was like very quick for me in terms of like it was really quick for me. Um, like I learned very quickly from everybody else, which I'm always pretty grateful of. Yeah, I'm actually like really grateful of that. I learned really quickly because all my friends were like some of the best players ever, and so I was able to become good really fast. Uh, yeah.
I'm glad you have such a humble opinion of yourself even back then. But no, I remember that too. I remember making fun of Jason Pone together with CTC because he was
Yeah,
he.
dude. Everyone was so mean too. They were like, this kid is literally 12 years old. Kick him out of our group. And I remember they were to me they were so mean.
Well, I remember making
Whatever.
fun of
Adversity
Jason,
makes you stronger.
of course. Um, now I wonder, like everyone just kind of goes to their own Discord server and they can avoid conflict. And I had this whole argument with my friend the other day about being
Yeah.
conflict averse, and I'm just like, I can't do it personally. Too pugnacious, which I think you understand.
Personally, some people need to be told what's going on and what the issue is. Some people they need to be held accountable for their bullshit, and it is what it is.
I
That's the honest
agree.
truth.
And in this case, the bullshit was that Jason was up 6-1, and they got reverse swept by a toxic rogue. So one of the recurring
You're a
questions.
bad man.
I don't even know how that happened. I think it was playing Ruhr or someone. Okay, so we have a couple of recurring questions in this. One of them keeps at, well, a lot of them are on the subject of Joey's recent VGC heroics. The nice version says, do you think you could do better than Joey at VGC? The not so nice version says, what's it like living in Joey's VGC shadow? So,
Let me
however
ask
you
you
want to
something.
respond is is up to you.
How many years have we been playing this game? Right,
Yeah,
15 years,
yeah.
more or less. Well, your old ass has been playing for 15. Mine's been playing for a good 12.
Yeah.
How many times have we given doubles any attention?
Never, never, ever, ever. No, we
Ex-
gave it
So
attention when
so
it's
that's my answer to that question.
whenever someone is on our SPL team or when doubles wasn't SPL and you're like, oh
That's the
man,
only time we're playing that. Exactly.
and you
That's
feel
why I'm like,
bad.
bro. There's like there's no way that I would ever do what Joey did without the amount of dude. There's just no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. It would take me forever to get to the level Joey's at. Also, Joey is very good at doubles OU. I think people don't
Yeah, he actually plays. Jesus Christ.
Doubles OU are a different platform. But yeah, he's what's it called? He's just a beast. Like that's Joey's thing, right? That he's always been good at many tiers if he puts his mind to it. And as far as VGC goes, like Joe making top 8, it's not even like that much of a like. Obviously, it's like a surprise. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, well it was obvious Joe would do that well, but I'm not like super duper shocked that he was able to put on a performance like that. Like it's not uncharacteristic given his level of playing the game and his versatility in every tier. And again, he's had a strong knowledge of doubles for 10 years. It's not like me and you who legitimately never pay attention to doubles ever.
I
and
paid
are just
attention
like,
to doubles
whatever,
when I was playing
you know?
Pokemon Coliseum and
Load up that OU,
XD as a kid.
you know?
You know? No, but I know. I did. I know that Joey actually played doubles for like a long. I think he was like testing with people back when he played in SPL and shit like that. But yeah, my experience with doubles is when it was in SPL, and then I felt bad because my teammate would play, and I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So the other, I think I figured out the issue with Discord. By the way, my computer wants me to have both the Showdown tab and the Discord tab open simultaneously, which for my old piece of junk here is actually a major request. Anyway, so the other question that keeps popping up is, what are your favorite tournament games? We went over a couple of these a while ago, but just like anything you played that stands out, besides, inventing Life Orb Garchomp and generally performing all sorts of heroics in that fateful series against Ojama, including a Gen 7 OU game, which is on the screen right now, which actually is a team you built, which I liked very much personally.
Yeah, that's one of my very, very rare. It's like one of my 3 teams that I've ever built in my entire life and brought to tournament, I think. Second. We need to fix this connection thing.
I keep wanting to turn my hotspot on, but I'm not sure if that's going to make it better or worse. I think it's just my computer being a piece of junk.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah? Okay.
You got to go back to what you said about I built this team, because I didn't hear anything after that. It cut out.
Oh, yeah. I liked the team that you built against Ojama. I remember, as you said, it lost to Mega Charizard X, and I was like, you're way too hard on this team. Yeah, I think it's fine against Zardex with Medichamp's Fake Out.
Yeah, it loses to all fire types. Volcarona, Zard.
Okay, well, Volcarona.
Nice counter, Medichamp's Fake Out.
You still have you have Gliscor, which counters everything, of course, and you have good priority for Medicham.
I was just like, I don't know,
Gliscor,
like,
and Greninja.
I didn't really have any. You know how I feel about Volcarona, man. If you bring Volcarona, you're not a real player. Also, there's another thing where me and Ojama took a lot of pride at this point. We're in ourselves of always bringing like quote unquote fair, honest teams. So I also knew that if he played me, he's not bringing Volk. He brought a Chansey though, so that was crazy. But I knew, like, I mean, I guess I can't say I knew for certain, but I just remember we used to always say, especially him, he used to always say, I'm a joy to play against. That's what he would say about himself. He's like, it's a joy to play me because you don't have to worry about stall or any bullshit tactics. And I was like, you know what? You're spitting. You're spitting. You really don't have to worry about that.
I mean,
Mr. Honest.
I understand the idea,
that shit used to make me laugh so
but it's
much.
just so funny to say it's a joy to play against me. You know, like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Sweepage would go around saying, like, it's an honor for you to watch me play.
Bro, yeah, it's...
He didn't even say that to anyone in particular. He just meant like the general Smog Tours chat. It's like, oh, I have blessed
the general public. The general public needs to understand what an honor it is. Yeah,
I've blessed the plebeians with my double switches to set up Stealth Rock.
Absolutely outrageous behavior.
I know what you mean with the honest teams though, because like some people call them humble teams. Like Brofist is another guy like that. Who, like, he's never going to cheese. Yeah. Because, he's just... I don't like cheesing either. It's just an awful, awful feeling. So it is nice when you know that, the person you're playing isn't going to pull out some nonsense. But yeah, the original question was, what your favorite tournament games were of your own.
Yeah. Basically, just anything where like, hmm. I like the game like any of the games I played in like let's smoke on tour. I went 4-0 in SM. I smashed everybody in SM, and that's why I ended up playing it in SPL the next year. Um, and then at least my favorite game I ever played is SPL versus Will of Fire because it's a horrendous matchup, and I get every single turn extremely right. And it's like I remember chat was so mad. The lobby was so mad because this was the time where I was shit talking every game, and I was saying I'm the best and everyone else sucks. And they were like, "He paid for that game," blah blah blah. And I was like, "Yep, yep,
I will have to pull that game
yep,
up.
yup, be mad, yup, be mad." I remember, and
I'll pull it up
I
because
remember my team was so hyped up after that one.
I remember something about Como O close combating a Chansey. Um, but
Yes, bro, I made the most lordly read ever seen in this planet, bro. I CC'd a Toxapex predicting Chansey to come in. It was like a clairvoyant play, bro.
clairvoyant.
Man, good times, bro. Good times.
Yeah, the
Good
game I
times,
have
bro.
on the screen right now is you versus Exaline.
It was, bro. It was some. Ah, damn, almost some shit. It was beautiful, bro.
Do you remember
Gorgeous.
the game versus Exaline in SPL the year before that, where you pursued it as Metachan with Metagross on like turn 3, or not turn 3, but early. Oh, okay. Let me try it again.
Exeline, yeah, the M Dragon bullshit, right?
Um, I don't know about M Dragon, but Metacham's getting pursued and shit like that.
No, that was his. That was his player. That was his player. I
Uh,
remember. And it was like, oh my god, I remember being so tilted over that game, bro. Yeah, it was M Dragon was his manager. And then there was some activity nonsense going on where they were like, "Oh, Blunder hasn't shown up yet. We're taking an activity win," and I was sick. So I remember I was like, "Dude, I'm literally sick right now, and I'm in bed. I said I would play. Stop trying to cheese the win because I'm not signing on. Like I'm literally gonna come get the game done. I was like 19. I'm obviously gonna pull up and get the game done. I don't got anything else to do. Like so I was like, dude, the game is obviously gonna get done. Stop trying to cheese an activity win because you know me, I fucking hate that shit too. That's like classic Smogon nowadays. Like, why play the game?
yeah.
We'll just try and steal an activity win. And so I remember I was super duper butt hurt when I went into the game, and then I
That
had
little
to I
laugh
had
you
to
did
put a
just now,
primordial
Jesus
ass beating.
Christ.
Exeline was just the unfortunate victim. It had nothing to do with him. It had nothing to do with him at all. It was just the idea of, yeah, we're taking the win. Dude, I've had games where my opponent timed out. I literally SPL 5 those my opponent timed out, and I said turn the timer off because there's no honor in taking some activity win, timer win, any of that shit. Like we play a fun game in like a fan made format, like not to delegitimize, but you know what I mean? Like I really get really mad about that type of shit when people are like, we're taking the win. Like that shit is so lame. It just like super triggers me.
I know what you mean. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, there are cases like, who was the guy from this year in SPL who would, like, show up at, like, 29 minutes late every time because the limit was 30?
Yes, yes,
So,
yes,
like,
yes, yes.
shit like
I know
that
exactly what you're
is
talking
too
about.
much. But, like, there are people who, like, see the timer or the time start running and just instantly go, like, all right, well, I mean, on one hand, I sympathize with it because I've been in that situation where I'm waiting for someone for a long time. But like you can tell when it's an honest sort of don't make me sit around waiting, and when it's really
Yeah,
someone just trying to like cheese or do
yeah,
whatever they can to kind
exactly,
of like
dude.
slime out a win.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, there's really no honor in this. Like, how are you gonna be like? How are you gonna be happy about taking this fake win? But whatever, that's a greater discussion for us to have on Mon's culture at some point.
I agree. Also, I mean nowadays, especially nowadays, you're not going to have many people who believe in the concept of honor, or if honor is too lofty a word, then respect or whatever. But do you want
Yeah.
people remembering you as that guy who took the activity win? Like,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. You want to be known as the person who had like the most insane played games ever and was laying down ass beatings with your cool teams and your cool plays. You don't want to be known as the guy who, yeah, he went 5-0, but three of those games he made sure that he disappeared as soon as his opponent showed up and went off technical. Like, this shit is so lame, bro. But yeah, it's like a discussion of like a greater thing. But yeah.
so
Sorry, I kind of ventured off the question. The
no, that
original
was
question.
okay. Just your favorite
I
tournament
got
games.
passionate. I got passionately angry about fucking people taking activity wins. I hate it so much. Um, yeah, either that. It's the game versus Willfire. Like that. I had a lot of good games that time. I brought one thing I remember was not even the Glalie game. It was the game after the Glalie game because I was playing this French dude who was 4-0, and I was also I was like 4-1 or something at the time. And so everyone was like, "Oh, this is a big game." And I remember people were leaving predictions going, "Yeah, Blunder brought a Glalie last game, but he won't bring a Coolmon again because he obviously cares about winning." And blah, blah. I was like, "Man, shut up." And then I brought my Sharpedo, and I owned him. And Sharpedo didn't even come out though, but I owned him. And I remember they were talking big shit before the game too. And so I remember any game back then was always satisfying to me because back then the culture was so much like shit talking and like I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. So like it was, but people never ran from battles. That was another thing I liked a lot. Like if you told someone I'm trying to battle you, like 99% of the time they would accept and be like facts, except for Brofist because he never matched up with me. He always, not that we had beef. That's one of my best bros. But I told him I'm like, yo, let's play. He's like, nope, I'm randomizing, and I was like, dude,
he was
stop. I was like,
he was being nice.
face me.
He was being nice. He didn't want to lay an ass
Yeah.
beating on you.
Whatever. He's pretty fire. Let me not pretend. He's a beast. He's a beast. Let me be realistic here.
Someone is asking, when was the invention of agency, and how did you discover it?
Discover's crazy.
Yeah, you
2019
unearthed it. It was beneath
just
a
like,
stone.
yeah, it was. I was gonna say, oh, I didn't know that I had it. I had found it somewhere. Oh man, it's like I don't know. I don't know how to start with this. I don't know. It was just
From the
me and my
beginning
friend
might be a
Sama.
good
We
place, yeah.
yeah, thank you. Me and my friend Sama basically came up with it. Mainly him. He just kept on writing on all my videos. Shout out the agency, and shit like that. And people kept asking me, they're like, "What is that? What is that?" And even like me and Sama would just laugh about it and be like, "Whatever, just keep posting this random shit. It's funny." And then eventually, it just ended up like being the way to incorporate, our like a community aspect into it because there is nothing like that with Pokemon up until then, at least, or like Pokemon Showdown or whatever there was singles. Like it was really just like you can watch Showdown on YouTube, but there wasn't really any community aspect to it. So that was basically the goal with that. And then we had all the lore built in, the merch, all that stuff. And I'm honestly really happy with where things have gone with that. Not from like a growth standpoint, but just like it's like a positive thing. It's good. Like the game we play is very, very fun. I like the idea of there being some kind of like community aspect around it. Obviously, things have changed over the last 6 years, and I'm talking about this game as a whole. And there's a lot more singles and just like singles related content, Smogon related content. Back when I was posting, it really wasn't like that in general. But now there's so many different channels dedicated to it. Like shout outs to Jimothy, shout outs to Frieza as well. Like they have posted a lot of really good stuff. Jimothy especially has a really, really good focus on old gens, which I love. Like all that stuff is really, really nice because it's awesome stuff, So I don't know, all that stuff makes me really happy.
I know what you mean with like the culture changing and everything, and it being at least in the Smogon tournament scene where I am not really one for shit talking. I personally did not enjoy that period, but I did appreciate how much focus was on the game because
Okay,
now
Kev.
it
Okay,
feels
Kev.
like
I
now it's
I
like
saw you saying some shit back in the day.
I never started. That's my thing. It's like you can't take some things lying down. But you know what drove me crazy, especially when we were warring with
I started a
CBB
lot.
and the Raiders. Yeah, so you would start. I would, but whenever someone would say something obnoxious, then I would give it back as good as they were giving, and they'd be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Why are you so angry?" And I'd be like, "What the fuck do you mean? Why are you angry?" Uh,
Let me tell. Oh man, what was it? Shit Phil said, "Baby keeps crying." I know that shit made you mad.
yeah, but then we beat the fuck out of his team that week, so
Yeah,
then I
that
felt
is true.
better.
That is true. Karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it would have made me feel worse if we had lost, but yeah, you
Of
can make a
course.
lot of obnoxious stuff out of my name, unfortunately. Of course, I love
It's okay.
Phil
They're all
very
haters,
much.
King. They're all haters, King. Forget them. We don't need them. We don't need them.
Dude, I had a breakup a few years ago, and my friend came to hang out with me, and she brought like her friend, and he's a Czech guy, and then in the middle of this Czech conversation, he goes, "Focus on yourself, King," and I was like, "What the fuck did I just hear?"
That's the insane
Yeah.
shit.
So now we have the
It's funny
Glalie
though.
game on the screen as the visual backdrop. Well, should my computer be able to
A
withstand
magnum
such?
opus.
I think my computer clearly cannot handle all this agency heat, which is why it is collapsing between
Stop.
Discord and Showdown.
Stop.
But
Stop.
Blunder is kind of like
Computer can't
Koraidon.
handle all this agency heat.
Dude,
I don't like
Blunder.
hearing that statement from you.
Have you ever considered that you're like Koraidon because you set heat in the sun and electric terrain because it's so electrifying to watch you play simultaneously? So, with this in mind, our
You cut
next.
out something about me being Koraidon.
Yeah, because
Weirdo.
it's. Oh, fuck, I don't have to repeat it. It's because it's. You set the heat of the sun and the electrifying terrain of watching you play at the same time. It's genius, I know.
Why, thank you.
Yeah,
That was
so
really genius.
I agree.
Write that down, everybody.
So, is Blunder a true follower of Mao's teachings? I don't know about that one. That would be pretty extreme. So, we can have the double bill here of what's your favorite movie and what's your favorite tier?
Hmm, that's a good one. My favorite movie? Oh man. Let me think.
Well, it'll be
What's your
my
favorite
movie when it
movie?
comes out, but,
Do you have a definitive favorite movie?
no, it changes all the time. Texas
Let
Chainsaw
me think.
Massacre, maybe.
It's probably something that I saw when I was younger.
You know what I just saw in a movie theater, actually? Mary
Man,
Poppins. My soul was flying. It was
you should have asked me this
ridiculous.
before we started. This is gonna take me forever to think about.
I know. It's an impossible question. I could throw it like 100 at you. It's terrible.
That I loved. Well, Dark Knight is definitely in there, but I don't know if I would call it my favorite, but it's definitely in there. I really liked The Departed.
Mm.
I really liked. You know what movie I really like? And I'm not gonna say that this is like the best movie ever or something like that, but it is a movie that I really like. Uh, The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. You know
That's
that
a fun
movie?
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a classic afternoon and we'll see what's on TV movie. And it's just it does what it does
That
really
one is
really
one of my
fun.
all-time favorites. I love that movie, bro.
I remember a long time ago I asked legendary Dave Stone Cold for movie recommendations and he was like, "You got to watch The
Might
Fugitive."
have cut out.
I asked legendary Dave Stone Cold for movie recommendations years ago and he was like, "The Fugitive, bro. It's a masterpiece." And then I watched it and I was like,
The Fugitive is so good. The Fugitive is so good. It's like some old head movie. My dad was gassing it up, and I remember I
That
enjoyed
is
it. I
that is a
liked
dad movie, yeah.
you know a movie I saw recently that I really like? No Country for Old Men.
That's a
It's super dad movie, right? Yeah.
yeah, that's a bleak movie. Yeah. So the other
It
side of
is.
this
But it
coin
was really
is
good.
yeah. The other side of this coin is someone also asking, does Blunder like slow cinema? And I can answer that for the audience. I I think Blunder. Do you remember when TDK brought Protect Slowking against you and you got really mad?
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, so that is Blunder's
What
opinion
a
on
piece of shit.
Smoke So,
What a piece of shit. He didn't want to face me in a real battle of wits.
yeah,
God damn
so
it. He
that's
just
the answer
ruined
to
my
that.
mood.
Ne-
Can't believe he did that shit.
So, the other
He did
question
that shit,
is,
bro.
what's your favorite tier, if you have one?
Um, Probably Gen 7 OU in its actually no, bro, it's probably Gen 6 OU. If like cuz I loved Gen 7 a lot. Like the creativity you could do in Gen 7 was good, and I also think I hit my peak level in Gen 7, but Gen 6 has aged really well and is like one of the closest things to a perfect tier, in my opinion. Nowadays, people are kind of lame. All they do is spam double screens, superior, and glare, but like that's just kind of how every game goes. People always optimize the fun out of it as fast as they can. But I think, yeah, Gen 6. And also, Gen 5 OU is when I learned Pokemon. Um, yeah, Gen 5 OU Black White 2 is always going to have a really, really special place in my heart. I really loved playing Gen 5 OU. It took me like 8 months after I found out what Pokemon Online was and Black, like, because I was playing Black and White OU. It took me 8 months, I think, to get number one on the ladder. And so, yeah, I started playing in like the fall of 2012 is when I really started like laddering. I was like 13, and like it took me like 8 months to get number one on the ladder, and I did it with the most try-hard sand team you can imagine. It was something CTC made. It was Tyranitar, Keldeo, Terrakion, Scizor, Landorus, Latios. Like, can you think of a less like? Can you think of a more try-hard team than that six? It's literally the six most try-hard Pokemon ever conceived.
I think it's the
Like
sixth
it's
most popular
ridiculous. Like
Pokemon in the usage stats, actually, at that time.
literally, dude, it's like literally the most like try hard. But that six is the one that finally took me to number one. I remember I was so satisfied because I had gotten like top 5, top 10, but I mean, you know how it goes. You used to be a ladder player too. You know how satisfying it is to like
Dude,
finally hit number one. Like honestly, it was like the best feeling I ever, dude. Like,
no,
like it was as good as winning a tournament, bro.
I was gonna say the day I remember the first time I hit number one on the ladder. I was 15. It was the spring of 2012,
Dude,
and it was like the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
dude, like I didn't even know what tournaments were. Like I was so blissfully ignorant because all of them were playing like that was the year that they had that was the year they played World Cup with you, and they had played SPL earlier that year too, 2013. But I didn't even know what like Smogon Forums was. I was just so locked in on PO, playing ladder all the time and having like so much fun doing it. And like finally when I got number one, I was like, fuck yeah, I finally did it. Like because I knew how to like. I mean, ladder does hone your skills. Like
It does.
it's true.
Yeah.
So. Obviously, you have a lot to learn in the difference of tournament versus ladder, but
Someone
yeah,
just
yeah.
asked me
So
to
Black
do a
White is
video
always really
tournament
special to
versus
me.
ladder, so I should write that down. Um,
Yeah,
but
that is a good one to do. We have a lot to. Also, when I got number one for the not number one, but when I got my highest peak ever on the OU ladder, I did it with my own team that I built in Black White OU. It was you would approve of it. It was Shuka Jirachi lead with Stealth Rock 3 attack, and then 5 setup sweepers, 4 setup sweepers, and a Starmie. Super fire team. It was the best.
that
It was
would,
the
dude,
best
that
team
would
ever.
work today.
It would literally work today. It literally looks like it literally just looked like another variation of like the Smurf style teams. It was Jirachi lead with rocks, with Shuka Berry so that you don't die to anything and you can ice you when the Garchomps. Sub SD Select Terrakion, which I don't think exists at all anymore, right?
No,
Swords
unfortunately.
Dance
Yeah.
Acrobatics Scizor, which I also think doesn't exist much anymore, but that was
No,
like
it
the
literally
shit back
it
then.
literally doesn't exist because gems are banned now.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Look how they did my tier. But yeah, Acro flying to kill, Tentacruel, Jellicent, Keldeo, all of that was amazing. So Acro, Scizor, regular Dragon Dance, Dragonite, but I had Earthquake over Fire Punch because everybody was spamming Rain Jirachi,
Holy
and I
fucking
was
shit.
looking ahead. I'm smart for that, right? And then actually, I think I literally had Fire Punch too, but it was, but they never expect the Fire Punch X EQ. That's some bullshit. And then Life Orb Latias because Great Bastard's influence. You gotta have a Life Orb Latias on every team
Dude,
to handle the special attackers.
he was the only guy who ever made that set like actually work because that was such a piece of shit
Dude,
Pokemon. and somehow in
Dude, it's
his
like just
hands it
run
just
Latios,
worked.
man.
Yeah.
But dude,
Ridiculous.
it was so good when you actually know that you're gonna tank the special attack. Latios can't do that for you.
No.
And the last mon was Starmie, just rapid spin and the fastest mon ever. But yeah, I remember I was very, very satisfied with that structure,
Dude,
and I
no,
was like, it felt like the best team ever to me.
I know what you mean. Like I remember when I got that yeah, sorry, I just looked to my left to look out my window for a second and now I see my neighbor on their balcony doing something weird. It's like
Oh yeah, well out to
yeah.
them.
I don't know how to describe it. It's like breakdancing or something. Oh, he's
Oh, I
taking
need
his
them in
shirt
your movie.
off. Oh, he's
Oh,
flexing.
now you're interested. Okay.
Yeah. Um, is he looking at? No, I'm too far away for him to see me, and I'm in the.
Yo, what's
Dude,
going on?
dude, this is like. I wonder if he's like recording a video or something. He might. Anyway,
You.
so before we start enacting the plot of Rear Window, I was gonna say the thing you made me think of regarding laddering was like when I was laddering, Roscoe would watch me like every single game, and like you remember like your friends would like
Yeah.
watch you play. It's the best feeling ever,
Dude, yes,
dude.
bro. Literally, bro. And they would all join your game, and you'd see like 10 of those green messages on PO that was like, is watching the battle, is watching the battle. Is
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
what's really fucked up actually is when you're playing someone and a bunch of their friends join, and you're like, oh shit, I got a
Oh,
crowd watching me.
no. Oh, you're cooked. They don't know what it used to be like. It didn't used to be no hide battle back in the day, okay?
Oh, you can't disable spectators. I mean, come on, what is that? Um, yeah, we are now about to watch, and again, for the viewers in this, I apologize for the lag as my computer tries to reconcile all the greatness it's witnessing. It's a tall task, but I have also included all the replays in the pinned comment if you want to just binge Blunder's greatness, a la the new season of You, which is now on Netflix, and the only reason I know this is because my friend won't stop talking about it. So, yeah, I remember like when I was laddering with Roscoe. You know, he was the one who took the screenshot as soon as I won that battle to get me to number one. He was like, "Dude, you're king of the server now." It's the unmatched feeling. Okay,
What
so
a good friend.
our next question is, when are we getting the flex tape? I have to admit, I don't know what this is.
I have the flex tape in my backpack. The flex tape is CTC's album, which is mightily requested for years now, decades even.
What genre of
Um,
music does CTC partake in?
Hard rap.
Nice.
It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming. Stop asking. It's coming when I feel like it.
I guess that was a stupid question from me because I have enjoyed his verses on the Pokemon Cipher many a time. Uh, CTC on the Pokemon Cipher is like my epic rap battles of history. I can't get enough. Anyway, our next question
Huh?
is
It's the best. It's the best.
it's wonderful. So our next question is, what's the number one thing you need to do to go from being a beginner to a tournament level Pokemon player? Now, this is an actual good question.
One, you have to play a lot so that you can get reps in, and I mean, like, repetition and pattern recognition is what I always say is about this game. Like, that's what this game is a lot. Like, my playstyle back in the day does not even exist or work anymore because it was just like always make the aggro soul read. Eventually, that gets caught up by people just being better over time, and the game is better than it used to be. But I do think that you need to play a lot, or at least be thinking about Pokemon a lot. And timer is another big thing, right? You have to learn how to use your timer in a ladder. You're not a ladder game. You're not really caring most of the time. You just kind of click whatever, and you know, it's like, oh, I lost. Time to queue up another game. That's not how a tournament works. When you lose, you lose. You're out. The end. There's no, let me just queue up another one. You know, so I think timer. You have to really think about timer management. I think that's the biggest thing, and thinking out your plays. But I've always been a really big fan of laddering for that reason, because if you play so many different games on the ladder and you experience so many different team styles using them yourself and going against them, you save time when it comes to the actual tournament battles you play, because there are some situations that you've already seen, you know. That's why I always believe in testing your teams and all this stuff too, and playing test games. Like, I know people have their own philosophies on this. A lot of my friends have their own like different ideas on this. When I was at my highest level, I didn't even really play test games ever, even with the team I was gonna bring. But I would watch like 20 replays a day, so that I was always thinking about Mons. I was always like seeing like, okay, this happened in this battle, this happened in this battle. Like I think you really just need to immerse yourself in the game. Like you can't just expect to play like how you play on ladder and you don't care and you just queue up the next game. I'm always going to be a really big ladder truther for that reason, that it teaches you the ropes, like it teaches you the beginning steps. And then, yeah, timer management is something that people struggle with. Even I struggle with it every now and then. Like, I'll just be mindlessly clicking, or I'll be like, oh, I know he's doing this, so I'm doing this. And it's like, okay, but if you use your timer, you don't even have to make that heavy of a read. You can just kind of build your game plan up. CTC is really good about that. He always uses a shit ton of timer, especially in the beginning. He always uses 2 minutes, 3 minutes on lead, and he's always right in getting the lead right when he was playing in Gen 9 last year in the tournaments. And I remember he would always take like 3 minutes, and I'd be like, why is this guy taking so fucking long? But then the lead will always be right, and that's a big deal, right? Setting yourself up. But yeah, biggest thing is honestly just timer management. Like what were we watching the other month? What was it? SPL finals. And the dude didn't use his timer at all, and then choked the end game.
Yeah, I just did
and it's
that.
like and it's like these video. Are all. This is super. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, sorry. I just did that video for the Smogan channel too, and rewatching it, I was like, why is the timer popping up after the game is over? You know, like that's
exactly.
You see that happen all the time.
And it's really hard. It's really hard to internalize that always. Like, oh, like let me use my timer. Let me just wait. Let me just chill. Like, I get it for sure. As someone who sometimes just clicks random buttons, it's like whatever. Who cares? Like when I'm laddering. But when it comes down to it, like you can't just be clicking like that.
It's kind of funny because
especially not in like no team tournament or something.
Yeah, when you let your teammates down, that's just the worst. I was gonna say
that's the worst feeling ever.
It's kind of like it needs to be like a behavior you learn. Like, and I mean, this sounds ridiculous, but it is kind of like a physical thing. You think, oh, it's mental, right? But I do think that, especially now in the TikTok world, people like need to be like clicking constantly. And so, I mean, this is not exclusive to the world of TikTok, obviously, but like you see it more and more where like people get kind of fidgety if they have to wait 30 seconds, and then they'll start like clicking something just to have something clicked, and get that rush in. And like, it does become kind of like a physical dependence almost, it feels like. And I understand the feeling, like a high pressure game, like let me click my move and get it over with and, I'll feel better. But then you're like, oh, why didn't I think it through? Why, this move was so obvious in retrospect. So just, kind of being able to summon the hindsight before it's actually hindsight in a way.
Yeah, 100%.
So there are several questions asking what it's like for you to be the funniest showdown guy or the funniest guy on Earth, period. So, yeah, I'd like to know. What's that like?
I'm humbled. I think all my friends are funnier than me. And that's not me putting myself down or dodging the question, but yeah, I think all of my friends that I record with on average are a lot funnier than me. I'm pretty funny. I like telling jokes, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, this is just like a product of the way like we used to talk and joke around and always roast each other. Like Kevin knows what I'm talking about.
Of
like
course.
Just playing on like even when we used to just play like just we were all on Skype laddering or like playing like dude, we used to have things called shit talk BO3s back in the day. I know you remember that shit.
I am so
when
happy
two dudes were just beefing.
Oh my god. I used to participate in those, but not with you guys.
Lord knows I talked a lot of shit, but I never got myself in a shit talk BO3. That is some career-ending shit.
No, you can't do dude, and you know what everyone does during those shit talk best of threes? They start saving logs. Because eventually someone's gonna say, "Oh no, that never happened." And it's like, "Oh, I have the receipts. I have the conversation right here. You said you would fuck him up." Things like that.
You said you would fuck him up. You said he's not like that. Now stand on it.
Yeah,
there's always some shit like that.
You'd never want to get into one of those in a game like Pokemon, because then what happens is like you lose, but there was hacks, and then there's a 2-hour discussion on whether the hacks mattered or not.
It's like, no, it mattered. And then everyone's like, nope, nobody cares. You lose, hold that. And it's like, come on, man. But yeah, I don't know. It was just like, it was shout out CTC. He's the funniest dude of all time.
Uh,
Always
I know what you mean
fucking
about not
cracking mad
thinking.
jokes.
I know what you mean about not thinking you're that funny. Cause recently I was out with this girl, and I was making jokes, and she was laughing
Mhm.
a lot, and I was like, "Look, I know I'm
Okay.
funny. I'm not that funny." And so then this is what it made me think of. When you so humbly said, "You know what? I'm not that funny a guy." So,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. Been there myself. Been there myself.
yeah. It's like, hang on a second, that wasn't that good. Anyway,
It wasn't
so,
that good.
but maybe it was.
But nah, honestly, I like making the content funny. I like the jokes. I like the memes that always come of all these things. Like it's always good vibes as long as everything stays positive. I have no problem with it. And also like the game is not like that serious that like yeah, I love all the analytical stuff. I love tournament stuff. I love try hard stuff, all that stuff, but like it's fun to like joke around. It's fun to not take things too seriously. There's a fine line though. Sometimes you're too much of a funny guy. Like on that fateful day where I brought Torkoal to a Gen 7 tournament and I got fucking flipped. And I was like, wasn't so funny losing like that,
Your opponent thought so. Which game was that?
huh? So don't overdo it.
Yeah.
My opponent thought so for sure as Volcarona fire blasted with the sun assisting them and killed everyone on my team. I know they were having the time of their fucking life.
Which game was that? I don't remember.
Dude, it was some SPL. It wasn't 2019. It was 2020. But yeah, I literally remember I played against Volcarona and I had like some Torkoal fucking balance, and I was like, "Oh, this is my new cool flex team. I'm the best, so it doesn't matter. I can win with anything." And then Life Orb Volcarona came in, and yeah, yeah.
That's an ugly situation to be in.
Whatever,
Um,
dude. Volcarona is just one of them. Is one of them Pokemon that's only good versus me. Just piece of shit Pokemon.
it's
You're no
funny.
honor in winning with Quiver Dance Pokemon.
It's funny because you mentioned like the shit talk best of threes. I remember we used to have those like before you were even around, like 2011 with like Roscoe and Shofu and all those guys. We were like shit talking on Skype and battling all the time. And like if you got into a shit
Dude,
talk
all the
game
time.
and you brought Rainstall, then it's like, well, that doesn't count. You brought Rainstall, which for Black and White one
Yo,
was like
CTC always does that pussy shit. He always does that shit. It's like, CTC, you've been talking too much shit. Shit talk BO3. He's like, yeah, sure. Bring stall. It's like, bro,
no,
why are you like this?
and the argument is always like, well, I know it doesn't count because you were too afraid to face me in a real game. So I remember those conversations very well,
Exactly.
which is why I then stayed the fuck away from them afterwards. Because you could be right, but it doesn't matter. And to me, I'm a logical guy. That's infuriating shit. Um,
I
an-
understand.
okay, here's a good question. We might have the answer to it already, but someone is asking, what is your favorite play you've ever made? Now I know that that Como O CC
Oh,
into
I
the
know. I can tell you
Toxapex.
exact. I can tell. No, no. I can tell you exactly what my favorite play I ever made is. I can tell you exactly what it is. Actually,
Yeah.
um, it's it's me versus Axel 10 in World Cup. It's a turn one play. It's World Cup 2018. I gotta go back and find this replay, but I know for a fact this is my favorite play I ever made. Okay, so I gotta pull this up so I can even remember what it was. So I had my classic Jellicent balance type boring shit because I love this BS style a lot. Yeah, Jellicent Manectric, and I lead Manectric into Excadrill. I know his Excadrill is Scarf, but regardless, I click Flamethrower turn one because I know he can never Earthquake turn one, and it's just like a regular play. But it was a turn one play, and he switched into his what's it called? His Metagross turn one and lost it, and then I was able to win the game from there. I had a really poor matchup that game actually, but I ended up winning pretty easily after that because I got all the turns right. But I remember that was like one of my most like favorite games I was ever in.
I remember you played
That turn that turn one I remember I got it right and it worked out.
Yeah.
I was really happy at the time. Yeah.
That's always a big one when you have like that. It's risky, but it's a calculated risk and not one of those like, what if I just stayed in with Keldeo on Latios just for funsies kind of things.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Some Bluebird is actually asking a similar question because we're already talking about like current gen black and white back on PO with your experiences, but the question is, did you have a breakout game? One that worked not just for you to realize, oh yeah, I'm the shit, but more like showing the world, like, oh yeah, this guy's here to, because you had a kind of humble opening to the tournament scene where Hugo unceremoniously threw you into Gen 5 UU and you couldn't KO Bronzon.
Dude, whatever, that's still the GOAT. He's still the best player ever and the GOAT. And I love Hugo. But dude, I hate all them low tiers, dude. I hate them shits, dude.
So,
what do you want me to say? I hate them shits.
Well, the good part is that eventually you went from getting clowned on for not being able to KO
I was so
Bronzon.
happy when I finally did play OU because I started playing OU again because I went to OST finals and I was 15 and I was just using literal fun teams that CTC gave me and I was cooking with those. And I remember I found my way into finals and I was like, dude, and again I was a ladder demon, so even to me at the time it wasn't even like some, oh yeah, like oh, I'm lucky to be here. Like I was really putting down like everybody in that tournament. I was playing well. I was bringing offense every single game. Like, and I was really confident in my playing. And yeah, like, sorry, what was the question? I completely forgot. I started self-glazing and forgot.
That's very that's in character. What was your breakout game? Because I remember when you started playing in OU.
Yeah, it was no. So even after SPL, I mean, even after OST, where I got finals, I remember on the fucking power rankings, they put me like 17th out of 20, and I was like, yeah, okay, fine. Even though I'm definitely way better than this.
I think I know what the answer is, but I'll let you say what yours is.
And then. No, I had a 3-game streak. I played Taesung, Bengay, and ABR, who were all the top 3, and I washed all of them. And there, I remember I was ABR's only loss that tournament. ABR was my boy. I remember we used to prep a lot and stuff too. But yeah, it was that. I started off 3-0, and I smacked all of them. And then after that, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, he's a giga threat." I'm like, yes.
That's exactly what they said.
Am the giga
I
threat.
Remember that.
They literally, yes. Yep. You remember it clearly when they said, there goes the giga threat. That's exactly
the giga threat's left his house for the day. We gotta watch the fuck out.
That's dead ass stuff.
You gotta make sure your girlfriend doesn't go out at the same time you're there. Otherwise, the giga threat might just
make sure your
snatch her
girlfriend
up.
doesn't leave home. The giga threat is out and looming. No, my bad. But yeah, it was that SPL.
The
after
giga
that
threat
SPL,
has
was
pursuit
like,
trapped my girlfriend.
Literally. After that, also I was playing S Tour a lot. I started playing S Tour right after that SPL. Greatest tournament of all time, as you know, from one champion to another. Although you are a 2-time champion, some forget. I could never though. I could never forget that.
Bless you.
Shouts to BKC who built all my Gen 5 teams when I won Smogon Tour.
Yeah,
couldn't do it without you.
Even though some of them lost because I, decided that you should use Azumarill.
You did for the Azumarill shit.
I still think Azumarill was great, but it was my fault.
No, I played that shit. I played that shit super bad.
It's kind of like when you recommend a movie to someone who's not really into movies, and you're like, how about you try this French movie from the '50s? And they're like, what the fuck was that? And you're like, oh, I threw you right into the deep end.
I got to top 4 of Black White Open that year or something, and the only team I used was your Scarf Terrakion, Jellicent, Skarmory. I brought that every single game, and nobody could touch me. It had Taunt, Max Defense, Gliscor too. I was untouchable with that team. It's the strongest team ever. All of your Skarmory, Tyranitar, Alakazam teams back in the day, if you give them to me, I'm not losing.
It's really wonderful to hear that because Megan used to make fun of me for making nothing but Skarmory T-Tar teams.
No, he's literally wrong.
This one's got Amoonguss too. Holy shit.
Dude, yeah, and when Amoonguss was on there with Spore plus Sleep Talk for their Amoonguss, over with. It's over with when I have that combo. I know you had one team, it was Ferrothorn and Amoonguss on there. And I was like, that one was a work of art. And then Magmatran and all. That's why, dude, Black White is always gonna have a really. I'm always gonna have a really. It's gonna have a good place in my heart because I loved playing that meta for so long. And even when I qualified Smogon Tour all those times, I think almost every season, Black White was where I would get the most points. Obviously, a big part of that is that most of the player base is more focused on Gen 6 and 7, so they didn't really know Black White as well. But I don't know. I just really enjoyed playing it. Shouts to Smogon Tour. Best tour ever.
They only have
Yeah.
one tour a year now. It's messed up.
Dude, it's sad. It's really sad. It's like
think-
live tour is like the heart of Pokemon.
I
Why are
agree.
we
Yeah,
denying people live tour
You
more
can't,
and more, right? It's
you
like
can't
dumb.
counter team. You have nothing but games like over and over and over.
There's nothing as satisfying as playing with the same team and you're feeling yourself every round and you're like, I don't even need to look at what he's using.
Exactly.
I'm feeling good with this team, and you go all the way with. There's like no feeling like that, bro. Yeah,
It's a
you can't do that. You literally can't do that anymore in the scout culture of BO3 weekly. Like you literally can't bring your same shit over and over again. You're gonna get flipped.
I wish I have some tournaments I want to host this year, and I know it's quite an idea to organize everyone being in online for a couple hours at the same time with time zones and all that, but like to have a live tour for like a big like money thing, I think would just be the best way to do it. But that's me. I think it would make it the most hyped. But
When I did my my tour back in 2019, if you remember, when I hosted that tour, I made top 8 all in one day, BO5, and I had them team lock. And so obviously that was like a fucking insane format that hadn't been seen before. But I was really interested in like the idea of team lock because we don't play like that ever. And also I was like, how can I make everybody play in one day? Like nobody's gonna prepare enough teams for a possible 4 rounds, right?
no, I love the idea of team
But then I was
lock.
like, whatever, we'll just team lock it.
No, I
yeah,
really
me
like
too,
the idea
me too.
because
I think it's really interesting.
I played at VGC Worlds in 2015. Like not at Worlds, there was like a last chance tournament or some shit, and I think I went like 6-2 or something, so not quite enough to make it in. But I remember the fact that there was team lock was something I really liked because like you would know what the other guy was using, but they would also know what you were using, and that was fine. And then there was obviously there's matchup and whatnot, and you got to be careful, but I thought that was a really interesting element to the game, the fact that it really forces emphasis on a good overall team and then the battle, which to me is the biggest part of Pokemon. Yeah, so I like the idea of team lock personally. So I would like a live tour with that kind of like maybe not like one team, obviously.
Some new.
Yeah, not one team, but like you submit all your teams beforehand, and then you just grab between them. Oh, this is an interesting question.
Not for sure.
Yeah. What's Blunder's favorite blunderisms, such as Goob Nut, Shimon, Shiest, etc.?
Let me think. No, it's something older than all of these. If I have to really... Dude, first of all, I created the word heat in Pokemon, and that's a literal fact.
There's no way
Nobody
that's
was saying
true. I refuse
that's heat
to believe
until
that.
Are you... How is it not true? How is it not true?
I swear Shofu was using
Nobody
that
was calling
years
shit
before. Years before.
No, he was not.
Wasn't
Nobody
he?
was calling shit a heat before I came around and was heater for heating and all that stuff. No, that's a literal fact. It's a literal fact.
Okay. Hopefully
It
there's
is.
some historians out there who can verify
I'm so
this.
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, some historian can verify, but people were not calling things heat before I came around and started calling things heat. First of all, we're not even going to get started on Smogon culture, mannerisms, and sayings, because everything came from me and my group from the beginning of time for that community. But yeah, it's everything being called heat. That literally came from me and my team and my associates. We put y'all on. I don't know. But jokes aside, even though that's not a joke, I'm serious. Sorry, no, but I am serious.
Bluebird is saying
wait.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, what did you say?
Oh, Bluebird was saying that
I want to say
Immaculate
big
is the
shots to
one.
Shofu though. Immaculate is bad funny. I used to always call it. I was like, "This is immaculate play." Shouts to Bluebird. He's cool. He's a cool dude. And me and Star lost to him in tournament one time in some like 2-on-2 tournament. But I wanted to say when you brought up Shofu, big shouts to Shofu because I take a lot of his lingo over the years and like twist it up because that's like my Pokemon YouTube inspiration. He's the funniest, one of the funniest like people in Pokemon, and he also inspired me to make my channel.
Dude,
So
I remember.
gotta give a big shout to
That's
him.
exactly why I have such a hard time imagining Heat as coming, post 2010 or something, because Black and White had just come out in Japan, and Shofu was spamming Darmanitan all over the place. It was his channel icon for a million years, and
Yeah,
it was
all of that.
yeah, exactly.
It was just mad. Like he would always yell, "Bitch!" And Shofu was the goat, bro. He's the goat, bro.
But that's exactly what I might be
Did he-
Mandela affecting it. That I'm thinking, like, did he really not refer to
Dude.
it as Heat at any point? Because at
First
that
off-
point, it wasn't
first
even
off-
Darmanitan. It was He Daruma. That was literally what it was called.
Exactly. And another thing is, Heat was for using random weirdo shit. Shouts to my boy Shofu, but he always came packing an OP team from Great Bastard, from whoever. He always came packing the strongest team I've ever seen. I don't know
true,
if anyone
that's
remembers
true.
back in the day, but if you watch Shofu's videos, he literally only had like incredibly good teams every time. I used to steal all his shit and Joey's shit too. When I didn't meet Joey until I already had a YouTube channel, but I remember like I would steal his shit all the time too, because they were always laddering with some like high quality Great Bastard homegrown unstoppable build.
Okay, no, we have a couple good ones here. Okay. Rain Warden is asking, will there ever be a return of Anything Goes trolling? That's true cinema.
Dude, I don't know if you know what that was, but
I
I went
don't.
to Anything Goes National Decks, and you could use things like Fissure Machamp, but they got rid of that tier because I think people did not play it enough, so it can't return. But I like Anything Goes; it's pretty funny. But yeah, it can never return, unfortunately.
That is tragic. The
Because
next
there's no
question
player base
is
for
from Easy
Anything
Crime.
Goes. Even I just looked up Anything Goes on my team builder, and it's 5 Arceus and a Mega Ray. That's not getting touched.
Creative. Easy Crime is asking, Blunder, how do you feel about BKC calling those who don't make their own teams dirty, half-skilled, half-baked cheaters, considering that your list of self-made teams is in the negatives? First of all, I would never refer to it that way.
I gotta stand on that. I've said it myself too. I literally never build my own shit. That is my greatest flaw as a competitor. That I mean, I've built my own shit before, like, and I bring it, like, I can, but it's like for sure a handful of games. Like, it's in the single digits. Like, it's probably like 6 or 7 of my 100 tournament games that I've actually like built my own team from scratch by myself with no input. Yeah, it's like maybe versus Ojama, I built one team versus ABR when I played him in Smogon Tour playoffs. I built one team, and then I can't even tell you some of the other ones because I like barely
hilarious
remember.
you mentioned that.
I have a pretty
actually,
good track record.
because one of the
Sorry,
the
mention
replay
what?
on the screen right now is actually you versus ABR from that Smogon Tour set. It's the black and white game, but I assume you mean the
The
Gen
SM
7
team. I built that team.
the Gen 5 game or the
Black and White. Black and White. I stole that team from CL.
Yeah,
I stole that
great.
team from CL. The Black White game. Yeah, I stole that team from him. I saw it in one of his replays, and I was like, "This is so strong. This triple dragon." I 6-0'd ABR that game. He got blown away. And then,
I think that is true.
Gen
actually.
7. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I remember the Gen 7
What's it
game.
called?
That's going to be coming up next. I remember there were some Magirna shenanigans.
Nah, he outplayed the shit out of me in that game. He outplayed the shit out of me in that game. I gotta be honest. He washed me in that game.
Yeah.
But
That's because you had a scarf.
I ended up winning
Magirna.
at the end.
You had a scarf Magirna.
Yeah, he had some cheap shit. Always bringing Pex versus me, bro. He's so annoying. Always bringing Pex. And he showed me his Gen 6 game team planned, and it was stall. And I brought that team that he was gonna bring versus me because he never showed it. So I was like, "Yo, give me that shit." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever. I only built this to counter team you anyways." And I was like, "Good. Everybody uses my structures regardless." So I remember I took ABR's team that he had planned for me in that game 3, and I brought it all year in tournament, and I never lost with it. It was a phenomenal team he had. Like some Tyranitar Gliscor fat. It was a phenomenal team he had planned for G3, but I definitely hacked him in the game 2 Gen 7. And
I
ran
still
away with it,
remember
but
the,
I built that team, that Coco Bulu garbage. Yeah.
I remember that the exchange you guys had where his scarf Magirna KOs your Lando, and then you say that's no set, and then he goes, "Did it work?" And then you go, "Well, I can't argue with that."
Argue with that. He was always making some Like he to me is probably undoubtedly the greatest Gen 6 plus 7 builder. There's a lot of builders that I have a lot of respect for, but yeah, he's the best at lifetime Gen 6, Gen 7. Every time he made me a team, it would always pull a good matchup. I can count on my fingers the amount of times he built me a team and it had a bad matchup. Like, it's probably like 3 times. So, yeah, almost every time he built me a team, it would have a phenomenal matchup. So, big shouts to him. But yeah, to go back to the first question, yes, that is my greatest flaw as a player. I also could have probably tried more to build my own shit, but I would always just be like, what's the point? Like, it's going to end up being mediocre or it's going to end up being super duper standard anyways. So I would just tell myself, like, whatever, I'll just use something that's already. The way my brain used to work in tournament as well is that I would, if I saw it, you know me, I would always bring teams that had already been used. I never cared if all the sets were spoiled because I would always tell myself, I saw this team win. That means it's capable of winning. It was a very like 1 + 1 = 2 type mentality. But I would always just tell myself, well, if you saw the team win in tournament, it's probably a good team. Who cares if they know the sets? And so that always helped me a lot because it helped me not stress team picking.
There is something to be said for that confidence boost of knowing that it's worked before, yeah.
Yeah. Like, because you've been there yourself. I mean, I know you build all your own stuff for the most part, but you reused a team that you yourself built because you're like, okay, I mean, it worked. So, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
So that mattered a lot to me back then. Like, I would always just be like, dude, this team works for me. So, like, I play it well. I'm comfortable. I've seen it win in another person's hands, too. Like, the proof is right there. But I will always have a lot of respect for people who build in general because I think it increases your understanding of the game like anything.
I'm sorry to ask this one, but UDM31 asks, Blunder, how did the last Mott and Toxapex incident occur?
I got hacked. But I misplayed.
Yeah.
So we gotta. It was one of them ones, man, where it was like, let me just speed this up. I don't want an extra 5 minutes of this video. In reality, it then ended up being an extra 10 minutes. So there's a lesson in there. There's a lesson in there with patience, probably. But I literally got hacked. But no, I also misplayed. Been there. It's a tough world, man.
This is a weird one. Is pouring honey on people a pastime that Blunder enjoys now? I don't know what this is referencing.
It's you saw Joey got top 8 at the regional, right?
Yeah.
So there's a meme called I don't know who made this meme up, but there's like some fucking random saying. I think it was from Shannon Sharp, and it was like he said, "I'm pouring honey on you, goat." To LeBron. And no one, I don't know if it actually is from Shannon Sharp or he got hacked or some shit. But he kept saying, but he wrote, "I'm pouring honey on you, goat." And so I never have said that phrase before, but I think someone posted it in my chat, like, we pouring honey on the goat. And so like a couple years ago in a video, Joe was like, I don't know, probably making amazing plays, and me and CTC were like, he not the goat, he the Joe. And then I kept saying while we were watching Joe play, I was like, I'm pouring honey on the Joe. And then that's the new meme. I was like, because I just kept saying that. That's basically it.
Don't you love when an in-joke gets explained, and that not only does it not ruin it, but it makes it better? Pouring
honey on you, goat. This is ridiculous.
Okay, this one's a two-parter. How would Blunder tackle the Smogon tournament scene being more personality and narrative-oriented, a la Stephen A. Smith commentary, instead of focusing on the game itself? That's part one. And part two is, what things does he find most important?
I don't understand the question.
I guess it's...
What is that? What are they asking?
Well, you know how people like Shake are important figures in the community just because they never stop fucking talking? And it's just... You know,
yeah, despite not knowing the game or understanding the game.
Yeah, pretty much. How would you combat that?
I already do combat that by actually watching games and streaming tournament stuff all the time and giving the proper respect to the players as well as the game. This game is so much deeper than make-believe numbers and statistics, which any real good player knows. and no amount of people who don't understand the game trying to dumb it down will change that. I have a lot of respect for this game. BKC has a lot of respect for this game. There's a reason why we can make passionate content talking about tournament games for 2 hours and talk about all the backstory and that kind of thing. I think all that stuff is important. I think lore is important. I think backstories and all this stuff is important. And so yeah, I mean, I already sort of do this stuff, but I've started doing it more in the last couple months, streaming tournaments and whatnot. Because back in the day, tournament content wasn't that appreciated. Like, I could post some of my greatest tournament stuff back in the day, like 5 years ago, and the shit would get no views compared to like a Showdown Live. And I always thought that was really interesting because I was like, don't people care about like the game? But it just took a while for people to care more and more about tournament. Nowadays, people do care about. I think it's just because people are better on average than they used to be, and becoming better is also more accessible, which is a good thing. It used to not be as accessible, I suppose. But yeah, I'm like, I love doing tournament style videos, streaming, going over games. Like, I didn't do it for SPL enough. I would have liked to do it more. I only have like 3 or 4 videos about it, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stick with doing that. I'm gonna cover World Cup as much as I can. I'm gonna cover Smoke on Tour playoffs with videos for sure because it's my favorite tournament, and I love seeing a BO3 across 3 gens. It's like very satisfying to see like the most recent 3 gens played as a BO3. Something about Smoke on Tour is just too good. Yeah, I mean, I have no plans of stopping this stuff.
I agree with the Smoke and Tour thing because it's like it's just it's super modern, obviously, in that it's got the previous or the current gen and the previous gen, but it's also just enough of a throwback in that it goes 2 gens back. Like the previous gen is already the previous gen, so it's got the perfect blend of everything. So I think gens, as long as T-Tar is like an essential part of the Smoke and Tour gens, I'm happy.
It will be for a while, don't worry, because T-Tar is phenomenal in Gen 8. Yeah. Gen 9 he doesn't exist, but Gen 8, so even when Gen 10 comes around, you'll see a lot of Gen 8 T-Tars, don't worry.
Good. All right, we have been going at it for a while, so I asked for the final questions, and we'll let's see. Someone is asking, what is your favorite Fortnite season?
I only started playing Fortnite at the end of 2022, so I'm not an OG by any means, but I loved playing Fortnite the most. Probably at the end of 2023 and the first, the last few months of 2023 and the first few months of 2024. I loved playing Fortnite. I had a shit ton of hours on Fortnite, and like, especially like January, February 2024, I was playing so much. Me and CTC were playing a shit ton of Fortnite. It was like, I was like damn near addicted to playing it, and I was asked to. But it was just super, super like fun and satisfying. Current seasons of Fortnite are horrendously bad. They have like random garbage. They got like a baseball bat. You can hit someone and then they just fly off the map. And whatever's going on with Fortnite right now is like woke nonsense. They need to get rid of it. But I loved Fortnite at the end of 2023 and early 2024. So. Sorry if this isn't a satisfying answer to whoever asked, because I know people really like the original seasons, but I literally didn't start playing Fortnite until the very end of 2022. Like, I never gave it a try, and then I only got addicted to it after that. But yes, I am a big Fortnite fan. I love Fortnite.
What is your most hated status effect?
Paralysis.
Agreed.
I fucking hate Thunderwave. Spore and all that shit you can play around. Like, paralysis is like, my asshole is clenched every time I'm clicking an attack with my mon. Like, dude, even freeze is like, okay. Like, sure, it rarely happens. Also, I used to spam Ice Beam Clefable and Ice Punch Metagross, so I'm no stranger to getting lucky like that. But
Well, if you go for
like I
it, then
remember
you
I literally
deserve it. Of course,
no,
the
I literally
ABR
have won.
theorem.
Like I've literally won 2 tournament games. In my recent, not recent days, but back in the day, I won 2 tournament games. One with Tyranitar Ice Punch freezing a Komodo as it Dragon Danced in front of me, and then I DD'd on that shit twice as it stayed frozen and swept right there, which is like beyond shameless. But I was like, fuck it, I gotta go for it. And then I used to always bring Ice Beam Clefable in Gen 6 because you need it for Gliscor, but also you need it for other Clef, if you know what I mean. So
I know exactly what you mean.
I mean,
Do you remember the Smogon
I'm
tour?
being there for
Dude, you remember the Smogon tour where ABR, like the live tour, he won, where he had a team that
right.
was super weak to Reuniclus, and he faced Reuniclus like 4 times, and every single time his counter was go to
You just freeze it
Clefable
every
and
time,
freeze
bro.
it, and not only did
And
he freeze
spam
it,
ice, baby.
not only did he freeze it, it stayed frozen long enough for him to call mine to
Stayed
+6,
frozen.
and then
This is why
moonblast its way
whenever this is
through.
why whenever there's a discussion of like who's the luckiest player ever, you had to be there for the ABR run. You
Of
had
course,
to be
yeah.
there. At least in my opinion, you had to be there. Like there's a lot of lucky players, you had to be there for that.
No,
Like if
I
you weren't there
know.
for that, like you don't know how demonically lucky he was. And he was good too. I'm not taking away nothing. But oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
It was really, really unfair. I've seen a lot of lucky players.
I
I
will say
saw
this.
Earthworm, my idol. I gotta say he was pretty lucky in his time. I saw
Yeah,
McMegan.
let's talk about McMegan. One of the luckiest of all time.
Yeah,
Transgenerational luck.
McMegan took Earthworm's title. Like everyone was calling him the new Earthworm when he came up, not just because he was so good, but because he was so lucky. Then there was Tasung,
Oh,
of
lucky.
course. Tasung
Oh yeah,
got some.
Tasung's luck was demon. Yeah.
Yeah, but then ABR made all these guys look like, mildly fortunate. He made them look like they got
Oh,
one Scald Burn in
bro.
5 attempts.
Nasty work.
Yeah. And this.
Good times.
Oh, yeah. What things do you find most important when evaluating at team preview?
Back in the day, actually, this can be extrapolated even to today. What do I find most valuable in looking at team preview? Honestly, I just try and think what set is it gonna be. If you don't see, if you see like overly prominent hazard removal, like in a Gen 9 scenario, if you see like Hatterene and a Great Tusk, and then you see like Kyurem and Dragonite, well, obviously the Kyurem and the Dragonite aren't going to be boots because there's such a heavy focus on hazard removal, seeing as there's Magic Bounce and then also Rapid Spin. The biggest thing to me is always just try and analyze what every set is going to be, and that's where playing a lot comes in hand, right? Because you'll be like, oh, I've already seen this type of structure or a similar type of structure, and these were the sets on it. It goes back to just running timer. I've always felt like I was pretty good at this, though. Like being able to look at a team preview and be like, okay, he's probably this, he's probably this. Sometimes it's just really obvious stuff, too. Like, oh, he has 3 physical attackers on his team. Then probably the 4th attacker is not going to be physical as well because that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's like simple shit like that a lot of the time. Just like, don't psych yourself out. Most teams have to follow a certain framework or they're bad teams.
It is kind of an intuitive thing, and you kind of have to develop that muscle of intuition through playing a lot. So I agree. That's why ladder is so helpful, especially because like eventually, like you'll freak out. You'll get into a tournament game, and you'll go, "Oh God, I'm so nervous," and then you'll get into a certain situation. You're like, "I've been in this situation 1,000 times. I've had Rotom against Scizor, and So just so you're not like
you'll be like, "Oh my God, but what if he's this? But what if he's this?" And it's like, there's no way he's going to be that. Look at because you played so much that you've seen the team compositions. You know there's no chance that he's going to have this type of thing. There's always going to be some random one-off surprise sets. Yes, that does exist. But it's not going to be a bunch of random sets you don't expect because that makes a bad team. A team still has to follow certain guidelines to be considered a good team,
Not that stopped certain players before, but...
True.
Yeah.
True.
Right,
I brought some garbage before. Sometimes I think, let me just stack up a bunch of trash and hope it hits. I've been there before.
I mean, it might work. Who's to say? All right, let's find a good question for the last one. Okay, this is a pretty good one. Who is one old player Blunder would want to start playing again, and why?
Mm. I wish Great Bastard never quit, which is like the obvious fucking answer that's gonna come from me. But like, yeah, I wish he never quit. He was one of my best friends, and he was one of the best players ever. Like, to a lot of like my friends, like Joey and CTC, we all considered him to be like the best player ever. So I really wish he never quit, because he was like a incredible mind at the game. And then for a player that quit more recently, I mean, Brofist comes back now to play a World Cup, but I miss playing with him. I miss testing with him. I miss all of that. So I guess Brofist. Shout outs to my boy Bengay, who hasn't played in like 4 or 5 years. Shout out to Tasung. It's like a lot of just like my friends that used to play, but you know, life happens. You get other interests, like. But I had a lot of fun playing with all of them. So yeah, Joey is just too busy nowadays to play on Smogon. But that year our Tyrants went to the finals. He had 8 wins. He went 8-3. Like he had a phenomenal season. He's always good. So I would, it'd be fun. But he's too busy. So I'd never really tell him. Like I did. I have told him though. Like, and I told our boy Jade the same thing. I was like, if you ever want to return and you ever want to play, I'll get you an SPO. You don't have to worry about going to some random ass team. You'll be on my team. But it's a big commitment. I know how it goes. So
Yeah.
I never try to like tell them like, come on, come back, because you know how it goes, man. It's a big commitment, physically and emotionally. So
Yeah, I mean, it sounds funny because Pokemon like physical commitment, but I can tell you from recent experience where I just be like stressing. It's
awesome,
like,
bro.
how long have I been
Yeah,
playing this? Not just this game, but this tier. Like it's tattooed on the on my
yeah.
eyelids. But yeah, Hugo's married now. It's crazy to think about.
Nah, I know
Yeah. All right.
he's married with a family, job, all that stuff. I'm so happy for him. I miss my bro.
Nah, it's bullshit. I think you should come back and build some more teams.
Come back and build us more offense. Come back.
All right, we should probably call it there. For many reasons. One of them being I'm fucking hungry and it's 10 p.m. All right, thank you, Blunder,
Nah,
for
you're good. You're
being
good. This was
here.
a lot of fun.
And
Thank you for having me. Always
I'm
good to chat. We'll have a video on my channel soon, guys. We're gonna have something great coming, so be ready for that.
yeah, I'm sure we're gonna be doing stuff nonstop. And yeah. Oh, someone also asked what your favorite action movie and your favorite horror movie is, so we have to throw that in there. First thing that comes into your head.
Oh, oh. Okay. I'm not gonna say that these are the highest quality horror movies at all because they're not. But I love all Final Destination movies, even the shit
Yes.
ones, and
Yeah.
I will be going to watch the new one in theaters.
Fuck
Nobody
yeah.
stop me. Uh, and I like this one movie a lot. I like think about it a lot. I've only seen it twice. But it's the one with Robert De Niro. I guess it is action and it's almost like kind of horror. Cape Fear. You've seen that,
That's
right?
a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie always stays in my head. I always think about that movie. It's super good. Like
That's
I'd watch that movie again
That's from the
any
same
day.
director as The Departed. They did a lot of great stuff together. Taxi Driver's my
Scorsese,
favorite,
yeah,
but
bro. Yeah, but
the
yeah,
greatest.
that movie is awesome. Cape Fear is awesome. I love that movie a lot.
Yeah, I love the
So it's
scene
up
where
there,
he's laughing in the movie theater. Cause
dude.
okay,
It's such an unsettling film. I've never seen him act like that. Like it really scared me watching him
that scene
in that role.
when he like starts biting Juliet Lewis's fingers.
Yo, dude, that movie is so unnerving, bro.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. All right, we're gonna
Yeah,
call it there. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.
have a good one.